Hello everyone, this is Angela and welcome to my channel, Angie the ENTJ. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and click on the notifications bell so that you'll know whenever I upload any new content. I know that I've been gone for a minute, y'all. I'm sorry. I needed a break because I had some major classes, plus I'm running a business and also creating content, especially edited videos, can be quite time consuming. So it's a labor of love though. And I'm also done with my classes for now. So yay. And I'm looking forward to the content that I have in store for you coming up. So let's go ahead and dive in. When you see this word, you probably don't have a reaction for it beyond pronouncing it, which is mesquite, simple mesquite, right? Some of you may go a bit further and think about it as a flavor for barbecue sauce. Some of you may even go so far as to know that it's a major suburb located within the Dallas-Fort Worth metropolitan area, Mesquite, Texas. And for some of you grill connoisseurs, you may think about it as a tree whose wood is used during grilling in order to impart a distinctively sweet taste into the barbecue that you're cooking or grilling. I am sure that the majority of you are not thinking about the word mesquite on a regular basis. And hey, that's cool. That's perfectly fine. Most of you probably never gave a thought to the etymology or the origin of the word either, which is taken from the Nahuatl language, which is spoken by the descendants of the Aztec and the Nahuatl people. And that word in their language is mosquito. Most of you in my audience are English speakers. And if it is your only language, which is, hey, perfectly fine, your thought process is probably going to end with the word mesquite simply being a modern day way of saying the indigenous word mosquito, which describes a tree that is indigenous to the Southwest United States, Mexico, Central, and South America. Generally speaking, in languages that use the Roman alphabet, which includes English, the letters represent the sounds that you enunciate, hooked on phonics, you enunciate it in order to know what is being described, and it just simply ends there. So you see the M, and you know that it's pronounced as M or M. You see the vowel E, so it's going to be the short sound eh in this case, and so on and so forth. And so when you see the letters being placed together to form one word, you pronounced it in. Hey, ta-da, you have the word mesquite, right? Life goes on. You may think about this video and get some mesquite barbecue sauce the next time you go grocery shopping. And by the time you lay your head down to sleep tonight, mesquite may be a distant memory. Totally cool. Most people are like this. And again, perfectly fine. Now it's time to blow your mind a little bit. I'm almost certain that the last thing you would have considered about the word mesquite is that it's found in the ancient Egyptian language known as Medu and is used to describe the Milky Way galaxy. Medu is older than the English language. So the word mesquite to describe the Milky Way galaxy is older than the phrase Milky Way galaxy. I am an ENTJ personality type, which most of you know, and it is rare. It is a very rare personality type, as less than 2% of the people on Earth think the way that I do. Add to it that 75% of the less than 2% of ENTJs are male, boys and men. I am one of the 25% of the 2% of female ENTJs, which means that my perspective is even that much more of a rarity, as less than 1% of people on Earth see things through the same lens that I do. And to be clear, I'm not at all suggesting that my viewpoints or perspectives are better than others. I'm just simply saying that it's different, and I'm just pointing out how it's different. Okay. So I am someone who is a lifelong student, and I study Medunetter, and I concentrate particularly on the Old Kingdom version of the language, the one that was spoken during the classical era when the Great Pyramids were being built on the Giza Plateau in ancient Egypt. The Old Kingdom version of Medunetter does not include the sounds for L or O, like what you would hear in Cleopatra or in the title Pharaoh. Those sounds don't exist. The L and the O in the Old Kingdom classical language. But that's a topic for another time. So whenever I am somewhere in my travels and I see a place or a thing with an indigenous name that does not include the L sound or the O sound, it tends to pique my curiosity, like the word mesquite, which is actually, like I mentioned before, the word for the Milky Way galaxy in Medunetter. And Medunetter, unlike English, is not a language where you simply put together symbols to sound out the word. In Medunetter, each hieroglyph has multiple layers of meaning associated with them, which I'm going to break down. As I break it down, I'm going to go backwards for the sake of time and efficiency. So I will be reading the hieroglyphs from right to left, even though it's correctly pronunciated from left to right. But I'm going to do it for the sake of time. I'm going to do it from right to left. So the first thing that we see is the little semicircle symbol that the blue arrow is pointing at, and it makes the T sound in mesquite. And the hieroglyph is represented as a loaf of bread. The mesquite tree has seed pods that grow on it, which can be processed into creating mesquite flour. And you can use it to make bread, which is being shown by the green arrow. Moving along, the next thing that we're seeing is this funny looking triangle in the middle of the word. This hieroglyph represents a hill, and the pink arrows are showing that it makes the k sound in mesquite, which is, again, one layer of meaning. It also describes a situation that is very hilly or mountainous. Now, the southwestern United States, the nation of Mexico, and many other Latin American nations are very hilly or mountainous areas. And it's within these areas that you can find the mesquite tree. As I mentioned before, a word in Medunetter has multiple meanings to it beyond the way that it sounds. So we're seeing this almost W looking hieroglyph, and it too has multiple meanings. But it is typically used to describe a place that is a desert or, has very dry or arid land, like the Southwest United States and parts of northern Mexico, where you can find the mesquite tree in abundance. It also is used to describe a foreign land. So Egypt is on the continent of Africa. Basically, from the eyes of the ancient Egyptians, the Milky Way galaxy is in a land that's foreign to Egypt, which the Milky Way galaxy is located, you know, beyond Earth in outer space. Well, also, the mesquite tree is located in a land that was foreign to them. So Mexico is geographically in a completely different part of the world than ancient Egypt was located. So the next thing moving along that we're looking at is a symbol representing fox skins that have been tied together in a bundle of three. This makes the miss sound that you hear at the beginning of Mesquite. What this hieroglyph represents is birth or something being created, something being brought forth, something that is being produced. Just like the Milky Way galaxy produces stars within our solar system, the mesquite tree produces pods that can be used to make food. It produces sap that can be used for medicinal purposes. And it also has wood, bark, so forth and so forth, that can be used to create shelter, other forms of medicine, so on and so forth. So let's go a bit further for a second on those foxtails because it represents the canine species, right? Fox is a form of a canine. You see, both in ancient Egypt and ancient Mexico, each culture had a deity for the underworld that was represented by a black canine. In Mexico, he was known as Xolo. And in ancient Egypt, he's actually known as Impu, but he's also been called Sebek, or you may be most familiar with his Greek name, which is Anubis. Both cultures were very knowledgeable in astronomy. And coincidentally, the Sholo dog and the Pharaoh dog look alike, except that the Sholo dog in Mexico has a longer tail that doesn't coil as much as the Pharaoh dog, who has a shorter tail that is much more coiled. And if you've lasted this long in watching this video, then I congratulate you. I know that from the title of this video and what I've said so far, you may be trying to understand why the heck am I talking about a tree and some dogs? Why am I talking about ancient Mexico and ancient Egypt, some mountains? And what the heck does that have to do with femininity and masculinity? I totally get it. What I've just done is walk you through the extent to which I analyze things before presenting it to you. And quick disclaimer, probably should have done this earlier. I'm not attempting to get you to believe in what I personally believe or what I personally do. That's not what we do over here on this channel. Whether you or I believe that the mesquite tree is the tree of life according to like the Pima people in Arizona, the Native Americans of Arizona, that's not relevant. It doesn't matter. However, that's not what we do over here. Whatever I believe, whatever you believe or don't, those thoughts or beliefs, opinions, do not change the fact that the mesquite tree is indigenous to this part of the world and that its seeds can be pounded to produce flour. For instance, you can be an atheist and still use mesquite flour to make bread. You can be gay, lesbian, transgender, or heterosexual. It doesn't matter who you are or how you identify yourself. You can still use the wood of the mesquite tree when you're grilling to impart its distinctive taste to your food. So I'm not at all, or would I ever, try to get someone to believe in what I do. I do not proselytize. What I am offering is an opportunity for you to engage a topic while using empirical data in order to get to the root of the truth. And at that point, you can do with it whatever you wish. We're all free individuals, and freedom means different things to different people. So I have no desire to control others, and I certainly wouldn't want anyone to be controlling me. My goal is to help you navigate these topics and also to equip you with proof of the truth. So, what I basically did is just use something neutral to walk you through how I analyze things. And as you can see, I do not lead with my ego or my emotions. I come with empirical data, evidence, facts, and figures. So when it's time for me to present videos regarding masculinity and femininity, you will see that I would have also taken those similar steps. I will take this process slowly. The reason why is because what we will be doing is confronting hundreds, if not thousands of years of conditioning that was instilled within us to make us into a bunch of overworked servants or slaves for someone else's own greedy, selfish, self centered gains. The reason why I'm doing this is because of what's happened over hundreds and thousands of years. Many of you do not realize that you are still thinking within the framework of aberrant, toxic patriarchy, even when you have been making sincere attempts to grow beyond it. You are good. I didn't say that as a criticism. You are good and you are well meaning, and I do see that. However, you don't know what you don't know. A lot of you simply do not know how great you already are and how even greater you can be if you just simply knew more about yourself and your true value. And I'm happy to say that many of you have learned to at least understand your value within the economic scheme of things. And I'm so happy that you are at this place. We are all at this place. I like the fact that no one can ever guilt trip you, scheme and scam you into performing uncompensated labor and make it about the greater good, at the expense of your health and well being. You see through the schemes to conscript your reproductive capacity into creating the next generation of homeless, substance abusing wage slaves. So I'm proud of your growth and development at this point. I'm glad to see you all here. However, there is more to us than economics. Just see me as the feminine form of Prometheus. He's the one that gave humanity fire so that they could be warm and have light. Prometheus gave them the tools, but what Prometheus did not do was rule over mankind afterwards. He just helped them out a bit. Just see me sort of like that as I progress to providing my insights on masculinity and femininity within the upcoming videos. I know that chances are high that I am going to have some naysayers on my upcoming content, and that's perfectly fine. I am okay. I'm all right with disagreement. You can say that I'm wrong if I am. I will never have a problem with a disagreement. My goal is not to be right for the sake of being right. My goal is to have the truth no matter what it is. So I openly invite my naysayers or anybody for that matter to disagree with me. That will be cool. The only thing that I will ask is that whenever you think that I'm wrong, which is perfectly fine, only thing I ask is prove it. Just prove it. Provide an analysis with empirical data to show how I am wrong. Go into the places and spaces that I frequent regularly and show it. I also know there may be a likelihood that what I present will quote, end quote, inspire others to take what I present and throw their own angle onto it. Listen, I've never had a problem with people borrowing my content or my concepts. I only had a problem when they did not give credit. And part of the reason why for my naysayers, let me say it in a way that they understand. Listen, my stuff ain't rooted in passion and opinions. I actually investigate what I present. And I won't name names, it's not necessary. They know who they are. especially when they said that the concept that they marketed as their own was brilliant in one breath and stupid in another, which was about a year ago that they said that. But wait a minute, y'all. They said that about a year ago. And then about 9 months ago, 3 months in on calling my stuff stupid. So they went from, calling my concept stupid. Then they upgraded it to being, well, it's well researched. But but they admitted to it being well researched, but they still said that there was something still wrong with it, according to their opinion and their feelings, right? Because something just didn't feel right with y'all. There are some, let's just say, pretty interesting characters out here in these social media streets. You see, y'all, what my naysayers have figured out the hardest way is that what I present often takes long periods of time for the situation to fully play out before the validity in what I have stated can be observed. So once they started to hit those brick walls of reality, that, yeah, Angie the ENTJ's content, it was pretty far fetched, but now, I'm some months, maybe even some years into the situation, come to find out she was correct in her observation. See, what they did, instead of admitting that, they gradually began to move away from the concept and, conveniently started talking about other things. What they did not do was ever take back their harmful criticisms of my ish that they first either tried to peddle as their own, or for those who were not like peddling it and claiming that it was their concept, but were harshly criticizing it. They never admitted that I was right after all, because it would have embarrassed them after they made it seem as though there was no value in what I was presenting. They acted like I went to the bottom of a thrift store dumpster and found the concept and started presenting it to y'all. They didn't realize that I went through a process of investigating and all this other kind of stuff. So I will say this now for those who may want to or will want to use what I will present in the upcoming videos. I only ask that you give credit. The reason why is because the audience, be it my audience or your audience, doesn't matter, they deserve to know the origins of what is being presented to them so that they can research it independently if they so choose. I am at almost 200 videos on this channel over the course of about 2 years. Most of them are at least 15 to 20 minutes long, and the overwhelming majority of my videos are heavily edited video content. Each video has taken at least a couple of hours minimum to create. I have not received any money on this channel. As a matter of fact, I've spent money. So I am not saying to give credit in order to boost my income or my ego. I just want to make that clear. At nearly 200 videos, it's obvious that I'm not doing this for the sole purpose of generating an income. I also have videos showing my location throughout this nation. So I'm obviously doing okay enough to be in Miami 1 week and LA the next. I'm currently in LA right now. I was in Portland, Oregon a few days ago. I have a short of me walking around Chicago, however long ago and so forth. So it's obvious that I'm not producing content for the sole purpose of making money. A simple statement like, hey, I just finished watching this video by Angie the ENTJ. There is a link in the description box, is sufficient enough in my world to show that you have provided credit to the content. And the reason why is so that ignorance will not prevail. That's the only reason why I'm saying give credit to the content. So in the next upcoming videos, I am going to dive in on masculinity and femininity. I may just start off with one first, and I'm going to take it slow. I'm going to take it slow because the goal is for us to grow together. Just as many of you have grown to now start looking at your situation through an economic lens, whereas before that was not the norm, I am going to progress in a similar fashion. I'm going to offer that in a similar fashion. to you all. So, and I can assure you that it will be a walkthrough, just like we broke down Mesquite. We're going to break down masculinity. We're going to break down femininity. And, I'll be open to any and all questions. Okay, so that's all I have to say for now. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and click on the notifications bell so you'll know whenever I upload any new content. Take care until next time. I may not.